Hello guys, just want to talk to you on environmental psychology. Once again, the name is Philemon Wokoma Iyagba. Environmental psychology is a subject that many people are generally concerned about because of the global concerns with global warming and environmental degradation. And it's important that we go into an intro because this is going to be our first lecture, and it's important that we look at the background from where we take off until we get into greater details. We're all aware that there is what we call global warming and the challenges that we are facing across the globe because of global warming. You're also aware of the fact that in the last 20 or 30 years, there has been record high changes in our environment, in our temperature. Temperature in terms of heat, temperature in terms of rise in ocean tide and the rest of them. I'm sure you must have heard about what we call the glaciers. The glaciers are a collection of a mountain of ice in some parts of the world. And they are intended by nature to cool our atmosphere from time to time, you know, to be able to balance the temperature, the global temperature. Unfortunately, because of global warming, because of the global warming through the depletion of the ozone layer, you know, you discover that most of these glaciers are melting. Another area of environmental psychology, before we go into definition, that we're going to look at is the Amazon. You must have heard about the Amazon. The Amazon is a stretch of forest that cuts across the whole of South America, from Brazil to Chile, from Chile to Uruguay to Paraguay to Argentina, you know, and to Peru. And the Amazon was designed by nature to serve as the lungs of the whole world. Lungs, you know what the lungs do in the human biology. It helps to purify the airs that we take in. So because it's the largest collection of forestry, it helps to purify the air that we breathe in the global atmosphere. Unfortunately, there has been a series of incursions and deforestations within the Amazon as a result of economic interest. In fact, Brazil has estimated that they have the chance of making as much as $50 billion from infrastructure that they can bring into their country. Not to talk about countries like Argentina and Chile that benefits adequately from that forest. Now, talk again also about what we call the wildlife. The wildlife has been seriously depleted. If you do some investigation, you find out that some of the animals that we were familiar with, you know, that were part of our environment, from lions to elephants and the rest of them, because of deforestation, can hardly be found, and sometimes because of what we call poaching. Now, another problem, environmental problem we are having recently has been that of wildfires. Only recently, about a few days ago, Greece was trying to brace up for the challenge of wildfire that they've been experiencing. Not to talk about areas in Canada last year, areas in America, and the rest of them. Now, if you also investigate properly, you find out that some kind of storms that were mild years ago have become something else. Things like typhoon, hurricane in some parts of America, some parts of Canada, Japan, and the rest of them. Not to talk about ocean earthquake that we call tsunami. So all this have come as a result of environmental degradation. And at the core of environmental psychology is human behavior. That is the basis of this course. Human activity is the reason for which the environment has been seriously altered, depleted, and we have now suffered what we call a decrepit situation because of these alterations here and there. And environmental psychology has reason to address this problem. Let's look at, for instance, the hot environment we are talking about. If you talk about the hot environment, it's not just the sun directly coming to us through the ozone layer that has been depleted. Human activity in the sense that if you check very well, in most homes in Nigeria and even some many parts of the world, almost every home is angling to have an air conditioner. This air conditioner brings a lot of comfort for us, so which means that the comfort we enjoy is good enough. But while you're enjoying that comfort, you find a situation where the same air conditioner bringing comfort for you is emitting heat, what we call carbon monoxide, into the atmosphere. And all that is heating up the environment. Now, not to talk about the areas of automobile. Automobiles are such that, especially in this part of the world in Nigeria, an average person, even children in the womb, just to be a bit funny, children in the womb are eager and angling to own their own vehicles in a place like Nigeria, because some of the benefits and some of the infrastructure we enjoyed either in the 80s or some people enjoyed in the 70s, like mass transit and trains and the rest of them, they are no longer there. And with the depletion of that mass transit, you find out that an average Nigerian is thinking about owning his private vehicle. Now, let me give you a scenario. Assuming we have big buses and trains and trams running in our country, the way it runs in some parts of Europe, it means that if a bus has the capacity to carry 45 to 60 persons, now if half of those persons are using a private car, it means that 30 vehicles will be moving at the same time for them to be in those 30 vehicles. Of course, on the average, if you find out, most of the private vehicles that you see on the road carry an average of 2 or 3 persons. Most of them, you find just a single individual. So the challenge is that what a bus can do, 30 to 40 vehicles are doing it at the same time, emitting carbon monoxide and polluting the air at the same time. So this is the source of some of the problems we're having. Now, there are also other areas where we need to be tutored appropriately in a place like Nigeria. Littering and waste management. We talk about building on waterways. We talk about flooding. A lot of people in Nigeria are aware of the flooding that we experienced in 2012, how a good part of the Niger Delta, not to talk about the north also, that supposedly is supposed to be a desert area. You found out that that flooding caused a lot of damage. And if you look at the root, at the heart of that problem, was something that has to do with building of waterways, the way we dispose of our waste, and a number of related problems. So these are the issues. Now, if you ask me based on that, where does human activity comes in? Human activities comes as a result of human behavior in either going with the laws or working with things that will not alter nature. That's why several environmental conferences have been held over the years. In the last 1, 2, 3 decades, such conferences have been held to make sure that human activity is organized in such a way that whatever that is bringing about pollution, that's bringing us into this global warming thing, is checked. There has been conferences that have to do with checking environmental warming or checking increase in temperature, either held in Japan, held in America, held in Europe, and the rest of them. The aim is that they want to check gas emissions, especially in highly industrialized nations. Of course, comparatively, you know that industrial activity in Africa is a bit low compared to places like Japan, compared to Russia, compared to Europe, compared to America, and then especially China, and then Asia, which is now developing very fast, compared to other parts of Europe. And a lot of the major industries in this area are emitting a lot of gas. That's why renewable energy is the answer today. Solar energy, and the way we even use our electricity are things that we need to capture. So environmental psychology, if you ask me, can be seen from the point of view of what human beings play in altering nature and what we call the built nature within the environment. Let's take that as an intro added to what we have done. Thank you.